Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the latest Wulf Defender 2.0 ED 5-25 by 56 long range precision rifle scope. Now this one's got the reticle in the first focal plane, it's got matching mill adjustments on it, and it's got everything you need for extending the shooting distances of your rifle. So let's have a look front to back. It comes with 100mm sunshade, and you also get pop-up lens caps for the objective and ocular lenses. So those will just slot over, pop up as you need them to, and you've got protection for the glass underneath. The glass is all fully multi-coated, it's nitrogen purged, and it's going to give you an extended lifetime warranty, which is called the Wulf Titanium warranty, so you've really got no problems or issues with it in terms of waterproof, fogproof. The 56mm front end gives you a lot of cross-sectional area for the light to enter. Remember, a 56mm versus a 50mm objective lens is 25% more light entry capability to go into all those lens packages within. The tube size is 34mm and the tube itself is 6061T6 aluminium, so it's all very well made. The anodizing is very smooth, it's completely uniform throughout, and it doesn't drag the skin off your fingers. Everywhere matches, and you get these nice big 42mm turrets to make sure you've got accurate elevation and windage adjustments. As I said, elevation and windage are in milliradians, and you get 0.1 milliradian clicks, which is equivalent to 10mm at 100 meters. Each revolution of the optic is 12 milliradians total, so that's 120 clicks. And overall travel from the scope is 34.9 milliradians, so you've got a lot of great long-range dialing capability thanks to the larger 34mm tube, which gives you more space inside for the internal erector tube to actually move through that angular variation. Everything is clearly marked on the turrets in terms of the directions and also the click value, and the turrets themselves lift to unlock and turn, and you also have an underside zero stop capability, so once you've actually set the scope up to your rifle you can choose your primary zero distance and set up to that, so you can dial wherever you like, and then when you've finished dial back to zero and you're never going to get lost. Similarly, windage markings are very clear to read, and those are also with great click values. You can feel those with a tactile nature on, you can also hear them as well, but they're not too loud and they don't overrun either, and of course that large diameter dial makes sure you've got plenty of grip on it, so you're not excessively messing with your fingertips. You can just grab a whole handful of it and dial it wherever you need quickly. The left side shows illumination on the internal reticle and the 6 stages of illumination, and you've got adjustable parallax as well from 20 meters all the way out to infinity. Magnification is adjusted from 5 to 25 times on the ocular collar here, and that goes all the way to the ends, and it's got nice firm stops at each end, which indicates to me that the mechanics inside are well made. Now there's also no perception of internal movement, and of course there's a large helical mechanism within there moving lenses back and forth, so the fact you can move that very smoothly with no backlash or perception of internal motion means it's been very well made as well. That's got serration on it, so you can get hold of it with your fingertips if you want, if you're not using the throw lever, but I do like throw levers myself. I think they're excellent and they speed everything up, especially when you're moving from distance to distance. You might want to drop down to a wide field of view to pick up a target, then zoom in to make those more precise shots. The ocular body at the rear is fast focus, so you get a crystal clear reticle picture. There's no eye strain at all, and eye relief is 88 to 92mm, so like most scopes it does vary slightly throughout the magnification range. Importantly though, sticking between 88 and 92mm means it's not super long eye relief, and although some people think they need super long eye relief, quite often you don't, and super long eye relief does come with some detrimental factors. Staying around 90mm makes it easier to fit the scope on most rifles. This is actually on a rimfire at the moment, so it's got less physical space to fit it in, but still gives me a very comfortable position. Now the other beneficial factor from that moderate eye relief is the fact you get a more generous and forgiving eye box, so you've got more movement within the eye box when you're behind the scope without having to struggle as much and find it. And of course the exit pupil goes from 9.7 to 2.2mm throughout the magnification range from low to high. Correspondingly, field of view goes from 4.45 degrees to 0.89 degrees when you go all the way up to 25 power. So of course you can dial down, make sure you've got the wide field of view, pick up the targets, dial in, make those precise shots. Overall length of the scope is 362mm, and there's plenty of mounting space ahead and behind the saddle to make sure you've got accurate positioning to get that eye relief correct for you. And just in terms of the electronics, take the cap off here and it's got a regular CR2032 battery for the illuminated reticle. That illuminated reticle gives 6 settings, nice and bright if you want it to be, and there's no light bleed from the reticle, so the quality is there. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with the optics this scope has delivered. The ED glass system does seem to give a sharp resolution, and it's also got a nice colour balance which favours good daylight usage. And of course this is the kind of scope you're going to favour more for good daylight situations where you are shooting precision targets, maybe PRS, long range, things like that. But that's not to say, I put this on this rifle and actually went out evening rabbit shooting with it, and it was actually surprisingly bright, and I stuck to below sort of 8 to 12 times magnification for sort of more sporting environment. And I have to say, I didn't feel I was detrimental at all in terms of what I could see right up until the last light scenario. When you go through the magnification range, there's no tunnelling, so there's no vignettes closing in as you drop it to the low magnification, and the actual balance of the flat image plane stays very consistent throughout the magnification as well. So there aren't any kind of stepped points where you think, I don't want to go beyond 20 power or 22 power. You just have to accept there's a general fade in performance as you go up the magnification range, like any good optic will give you, because of course as magnification increases, you're demanding more from the optical system. Now Elite Optical have supplied me this scope and recommended retail price is £449, although I have seen a little bit cheaper online. I think it's incredible value for money at that, because I test scopes quite hard. I've been using this on a rimfire specifically because I want to do a lot of dialing with it, up and down, backwards and forwards, shooting targets at different distances and experimenting more with a loopy trajectory on the 22LR, because recoil these days on bigger rifles isn't such an issue because you're usually using muzzle brakes, moderators, things like that, so there's no actual physical force transmitted through the scope so much in that respect. Whereas with the curvy trajectory on the 2.2, you can do a lot of dialing, a lot of experimentation, lots of shooting, you can do all the box testing and make sure everything's tracking as you want it to do. And in fairness, this scope has met all my previously confirmed dope data for 2.2 rimfire out to 300 meters, so I'm extremely happy with that. I particularly like the fact that the eye relief is that mid-range of 88 to 92mm. I find it easy to always get the correct picture through the sight, and I've shot it from multiple positions, including prone, standing, shooting from the tripod, as well as sitting positions at the bench just as normal, and I never found myself having to crane my head backwards or forwards to find that moving eye box, and it was a very easy scope to use and live with. I didn't use the sunshade, but some people will. 100mm sunshade will of course help you when you've got those odd angles of sun, especially low sun in the autumn and winter. The flip-up eye cups, rubberized, they fit easily in position, and when you're out carrying, shooting, travelling, whatever the rifle, they don't flap around, and when you are popping them up or down, they do stay adequately in position. The accuracy from the fast focus eyepiece here is excellent, and there is, if you want to, use a lock ring as well to completely hold it in position, but it doesn't vary throughout the magnification of the scope, and I was extremely pleased with how well that worked. The number 5 reticle is a nice balance because it gives you the aim off marks in milliradians, so you can correspond to aim off for windage or elevation exactly with your turret, but it doesn't take up so much space. It blocks bullet impact and splash sighting at longer ranges. The Wulf comes with a comprehensive manual which explains all the features and functionality of this optic, but I will put a link to the website in the description so you can catch up on all the specifications and options from Wulf Optics. Right, I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and click the notification bell to keep track of my regular uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.